Well, folks, Representative Jim Jordan is the head of the House Oversight Committee, and he has been spending his time these days going after some of the top members of institutions we increasingly distrust, like the FBI. Joining us on the line is Republican Jim Jordan. He represents Ohio's 4th District in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's also chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and is a co-founder of the House Freedom Caucus. Representative Jordan, great to talk to you.
Good to be with you, Ben.
So we watched a lot of the pyrotechnics yesterday in the hearing that you held with FBI Director Chris Wray. There weren't a lot of revelatory moments. There were a couple. There was one point at which Chris Wray suggested that Bank of America had been turning over records to the FBI, and he really didn't detail why exactly those records were changing hands or whether the request being made was legal. But there's sort of a broader overarching question to ask about the FBI. Wray says, listen, I'm personally conservative, so why are you accusing me and the FBI with its great agents of being anti-conservative? And it seems to me that the answer is that it may not be Wray personally, and it's certainly not the low-level agents, but pretty much everybody in the upper tier of management there has ulterior motives.
No, I think that's exactly right. And I think you hit on it. The big takeaway for me yesterday was what they're doing with Americans' private data. Two Democrats asked him the question, is the FBI purchasing private data, getting data that they would have to have a warrant to get otherwise, but are they just buying it from private brokers? And his response to both Democrats was, I'll have to get back with you on that. I'll have to give you a briefing on that. Really, that's troubling, particularly when you couple it with the fact that the FBI specifically sent an email to Bank of America saying, will you turn over to us credit card, debit card purchases in the D.C. area, January 5th, 6th, 2021, and then overlay that with any, and they had it in all capital letters in the email that we subpoenaed and got from Bank of America, any firearm or firearm-related purchases. Now, that's a direct attack on the Second Amendment, and they're asking for that. I wonder how they got that. How do you know when someone buys, has a purchase, a debit card or credit card purchase at Dick's Sporting Goods? How do you know if they bought a tent, a canoe, or a gun? I don't know, but somehow they must have been able to do that because that's what they're asking for, and he couldn't give us any answers on that either. So I think that's particularly troubling, and I think you're right. It may not be. It's certainly not the agents. We have a couple of retired agents who work for us on the House Judiciary Committee. They're great guys. They were great, doing great work when they worked for the FBI. They're doing great work for us. But it's the folks at the top of D.C. who are the problem, and it's because they're functioning in a political fashion.
President Trump recently issued a warning from his Mar-a-Lago home. He suggested that our currency is crashing and will no longer be the world standard. Well, whether or not that is true, it is certainly the case that the central government of the United States is manipulating the U.S. dollar. That has a dramatic impact on your savings. You should be diversified. There is a material that has spent all of human history, essentially, mitigating against the power of central government to manipulate your worth. And that, of course, would be gold. You can own gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account with the help of Birch Gold. That's correct. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k, maybe from a previous employer, into an IRA in gold. The best part, you're not going to pay a penny out of pocket. I bought gold from Birch Gold in preparation for uncertain economic times, and you should do exactly the same thing. When currencies fail, gold is indeed a safe haven. How much more time does the dollar have? I don't know, but you should probably protect your savings with gold the way that I did. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of happy customers. Text BEN to 989898. Get your free info kit on gold. Again, text BEN to 989898 to get started. Text BEN to 989898. Check out my friends over at Birch Gold. Let's talk about your financial future. You need to set yourself up for success. One way that you set yourself up for failure is by taking out credit cards and then spending a lot on the credit cards, and then you get behind the eight ball with the interest rates. Well, here's the thing. If you've got a high credit score, you have more power than you think. It's time to leverage that score to consolidate your debt as interest rates may continue to rise. A credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream can help you pay off your credit cards and lock in a low fixed interest rate. Rates start at 8.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit. Plus, the rate is fixed, so it's not going to increase over the life of the loan. You can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000 without any fees. You can even get your money as soon as the day you apply. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a better loan experience. That's exactly what they deliver. Just for my listeners, apply now to get a special interest rate discount and save even more. The only way to get this discount is to head on over to lightstream.com/Shapiro. That's LIGHTSTREAM.com/Shapiro. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 8.99% APR to 24.99% APR and includes 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Shapiro for more information. So, Representative Jordan, obviously a lot of this is tied into a wide variety of issues, including the Hunter Biden investigation. You've been on top of this. A lot of Republicans have been on top of the whistleblower allegations by IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley that the DOJ was essentially manipulating the process against Hunter Biden in order to help Hunter Biden Now we have Merrick Garland suggesting that there was never any request for special counsel status. We have the attorney in the Hunter Biden case suggesting that he had really never asked for special counsel, but special attorney status. All of this ignores the fact that the attorney general could have just appointed this guy special counsel. It didn't require. There's no request process. Like it's kind of insane that he was not made special counsel right off the bat.
Yeah, and I think quickly, Ben, this is coming down to who you going to believe. Gary Shapley, 14-year veteran at the IRS, handled the biggest international tax evasion, tax fraud cases, was the go-to guy in this area, made notes of everything that happened during the Hunter Biden investigation, contemporaneously put emails together, sent those emails to other people who were in the very same meetings, other people working on the case. That was confirmed with responses he got back from those. You're going to believe him, or you're going to believe the Biden-Garland Justice Department, the same Justice Department that said parents at school board meetings could be looked at under the Patriot Act and treated as terrorists. The same Justice Department that wrote a memo in the FBI field office which said if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're a terrorist. The same Justice Department that was cited in the court's opinion last week, July 4th, in the Western District of Louisiana, as being involved in censoring Americans. The same Justice Department that raided the president's home 91 days before the midterm election. Who are you going to believe? And I think the American people are like, I kind of believe the Shapley guy. I kind of believe him. And I think that's why they're coming after him so hard, and he's facing the retaliation he is, being kicked off the investigation. So I do think this is a big turning point in this investigation, where you have this whistleblower and another anonymous whistleblower, frankly, who've come forward and been deposed and laid out the facts.
So speaking of another whistleblower who's now in the news, Representative Jim Jordan, there's another whistleblower named Gal Luft, who's apparently an Israeli citizen who has made allegations that the Biden family is essentially taking straight bribes from the Chinese-backed firm CEFC, and he is now under indictment by the DOJ. What are we to make of all of that?
Well, I think the first one is they indicted him on FARA. Foreign lobby. Well, Hunter Biden was working for the same company, getting paid a bunch of money, and he's not been indicted on FARA. He's got some tax case and a gun issue is what supposedly is in this deal. So I think that's the first thing that sort of gets you like, really, you're going after this guy on that? So we'll have to hopefully get a chance to talk to this individual at some point. I know Chairman Comer, I think, will be pursuing that. But I think just on the surface, the timing is interesting. And then, of course, what he's being charged with, I think, is particularly interesting when he's getting paid by the same company that's paying Hunter Biden, the Chinese company that Joe Biden said, no, my son didn't take any money from China. Well, sure looks like he did here. So I think that's the first thing that jumps out at me. But I think this is something that Chairman Comer is going to, as part of his investigation, will continue to pursue.
So, Representative Jordan, obviously a lot of the other Republicans are on top of what looks like what Donald Trump once called the deep state problem that exists within all of these agencies. How is that actually fought? What exactly can Republicans do, aside from work to elect a new president of the United States, obviously, who will then have the authority to go in and clean out a lot of these agencies? Right. I mean, Donald Trump was president. Obviously, the agencies didn't get cleaned out. I mean, they were militarized against him in many ways. So what exactly can be done?
Well, you got to use the appropriations process. You got to use the power of the purse to put in limiting language, how American tax dollars can be spent. You got to, in some cases, take money from them. In the example of the FBI, you got to say, look, at a minimum, you're not getting a new headquarters built for you, for goodness sake, in light of what we've uncovered. Maybe it would be better if you need new facilities, you go to Huntsville, Alabama, where 20 of your 30 divisions are already at. But I think most importantly, this year in this Congress, FISA 702, the Section 702 of FISA is up for reauthorization. And I said this several times yesterday in the committee hearing. There is no way, absolutely no way, Republicans are going to reauthorize that and let this same FBI, who is sweeping up Americans' data, who is asking financial institutions to give us data on their customers' debit and credit card purchases, asking them if they purchase any gun at any time. There is no way we're going to reauthorize FISA in its current form. We have to make fundamental change to that. And frankly, say if you're going to go query and get information about American, you got to get a warrant, for goodness sake. That's how our Constitution works. So that's where we got to focus, and that's where the judiciary and I think House Republicans are going to be focused over the next several months.
Well, Representative Jordan, I know you got a busy day. Really appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the time. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be joined on the line by Representative Jim Jordan. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.